Hey folks, welcome back to Solo Quest, Party of One. New episode here on the channel. Wanted to go over the thing that started all role playing as far as solo role playing is the Mythic role playing system. This is what first came out and what started the whole thing for me, at least. I picked this up probably around, I don't know, 2010ish. I don't know exactly, whatever. And I didn't really understand it, and it was just kind of confusing to me at first because I heard a lot about role playing, solo role playing, and it's something that I've done all my life as a kid. Because back in the 80s and 90s, when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, there weren't a lot of people playing, and if they were playing, they were pretty much hidden and not very vocal about it like they are now. Because when people played it back then, you were called a nerd, a dweeb, whatever else. People would beat you up for playing the game, and it wasn't cool. Like now, it's just like cool to say you play Dungeons and Dragons. So a lot of times, I was playing AD&D and classic AD&D by myself, using the Dungeon Master's Guide from 1E for AD&D. Had a whole thing that you can do a dungeon and roll up a dungeon. So it was kind of cool. So I was kind of solo role playing before solo role playing was a thing. Didn't even know what it was. I thought I was just kind of building dungeons and testing it out. I called it like testing. And I would run through the whole process of, just running through dungeon and pretending to play and things like that. And then if I ever had a group, which I kind of had a group of friends that we would play, two, three, four of us, where we would play in the park or something like that, or on weekends, I would have a dungeon ready to go. So I was like, hey, I'm smart. I'm doing the cool thing. Well, whatever. Time went on, and you find groups, you start playing. D&D becomes more accepted. People start to play a little bit more. You aren't a weak door, blah blah blah. And then there's a lull in your life where you sometimes just don't have a group, or you have to work. And a lot of years I worked in the casino and when I was in Connecticut, and I was working overnight shift. So I was working from midnight till 8 a.m. One of the worst shifts in the world, I'll tell you that. One of the best shifts if you want to go see a movie, you want to go shopping, or you want to go anywhere during the day, there's no one around. So other than that, it's the worst shift possible because you can't have a social life. So Mythic Game Master Emulator came on my radar after seeing it a few times on YouTube. Now, can you run a session with zero prep even with no GM? Well, this system tells you yes, you can. So I'm going to take a look at this Mythic role-playing game itself. This is what started it all for Word Mill Games. It has a lot of stuff in here. Well, let me back up one step. This is a complete system in itself. I guess when he first started building this system, decided that he wanted to make a role-playing system for this game. And it was a system in itself. You can actually build a character with this system and run through it using the Mythic role-playing system. Well, I don't think the Mythic role-playing system really caught on too well, but the one page in here, or the couple pages in here, that is the Fate emulator, is what really did catch on with a lot of people, and a lot of people were using it. And Wordmill Games realized this, and that's when they came out with the Blue Book later on, just the Game Master emulator, which then turned into the second edition Game Master emulator, which turned into a lot of other little things like the one page and this and that, and the shortcuts and everything like that. But this book, at the time when I got this book, this was the original one. It was by Tom Mitchell, who is now Tanya Pigeon. So I apologize for saying in the beginning, but this is the adventure generating role playing system. So it has adventures, character creations, the fate charts, which is mostly where people sat with this book on page 24 to about 36 ish for the system resolution. And a lot of people use that for their sorted games of whatever they wanted to play. I've never used this system. I can't really speak upon it because it didn't really click with me when I read it. What I did use was the fate chart. And the fate chart was a little bit confusing to me when I first started looking at this. And I didn't understand it, and it just frustrated me, so I kind of put it down. A few years later, around I think 2016, 17, I actually Started picking them up again and realized that they had the Blue Book, the Game Master emulator itself, which basically turned into just what these task resolution pages are when it comes to this system. But it still didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I guess when it really started to make sense to me is when I actually sat down around 2018, because I was at a lull with groups before I met the group that I'm with right now. I really didn't have anybody to play with. I mean, I had a couple people here and there, and we played the games here and there, but I was like, I started seeing more stuff about it on YouTube, more people talking about it. I think there was Geek Gamers who was really very much into it. So I started watching her videos, and she had some great ideas. And then there was Artichoke Dip, I believe his name is. He'll use this quite a bit, this book quite a bit when doing the task resolution. And then it started to click how it really worked. And let's go over to that, because that's what mostly people care about when it comes to this is pretty much the fate chart right here. Now, this is the older fate chart, which some people aren't really used to. And the difficulty ranks were basically the chaos ranks. You only really had here to here when it came to this. So it's a yes or no system, and you would do is the chances low, below average, average, above average, and high. And you could think of that how they revamped it now to being 50-50, more than likely, likely, highly likely, things like that. It's the same kind of chart, except it renamed it a little bit easier for people. This mostly had to do with using the attributes in the game itself, like when you would give yourself a strength or something like that. This was where these other ones came in. So you were mostly looking at I don't think I can box it or anything like this with this system, but you're mostly looking at into here and into an exceptional, probably maybe high around area. And it works the same way with the low numbers and the high numbers. And it's pretty simple to use. The exceptional is the low 1/5 range, so the little tiny numbers down here that you can probably see. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger for you. So the little numbers that you see down there obviously are the fate chart numbers. The exceptional no is the higher 1/5 range. So it's the same thing as the Game Master emulator you're probably used to today. And obviously they had the little cross here with the gray area to tell you where the actual 50-50 area was when it came to the chaos rating, which was 6-4. So it didn't really bounce up and down a lot like it does now. There was a range of numbers. So now that we have that, we can talk a little bit more about other things in this book. You're probably familiar with the adventure worksheet. This is pretty much similar to the Game Master emulator Blue Book edition. It has the adventure set up, the exact scenes, the character lists, and the threads, and the chaos factor. It's pretty much the same thing as the Blue Book, because the Blue Book spawned off of this red one. I think it changed slightly when it became the second edition emulator, but this is what it is. So it runs solo games pretty well. Now, remember when I was talking about the character sheets and how characters look? Some people wanted to know about that. This was an NPC worksheet with all their statistics. Here's what the characters kind of look like. So they gave you some example characters in here with strength, agility, reflex, IQ, intuition, willpower, and toughness, along with their abilities, what they had. So you would roll, how you would roll on the chart and everything like that. It made itself a role-playing game inside of a whole emulator. Word Mill Games wanted to have a role-playing game system along with a way to run the game without a GM in case you just wanted to play games. So this is what started it all, and this is the thing that really works. Now, it runs solo emulators. I mean, it runs the games pretty well. It teaches interpretations with a lot of examples and has a good summary of what things mean. The prompts are a little bit vague at times, so the text tells you to discard things even if you can't interpret them. which got revamped and revitalized in the Blue Book. And then it talks a little bit about the I don't know rule, which basically some groups find too hand wavy. And I know a lot of people I know were like, I don't like the I don't know rule. So who is this really for? Solo players, improv groups, and GMs that want an oracle to keep the session moving, especially when, the other systems don't have anything for you. So Mythic is a single game with more of a play style or multiplayer going on with it. If you like a system that keeps you, guessing and has a shared like authorship with a bunch of other people, this is a powerhouse system. I didn't really want to go over this type of system because most people don't really care about this, to be honest. But it's just like any other system. You're going to pick your abilities right here, assign them a certain ranks based on what you want. It tells you how many points you could spend to do on each rank for attributes and abilities. Make your notes, strengths and weaknesses if you have them. Your favorite points, which you use to modify scenes, and then you can go and use this and make your own adventures. It's an okay system. I don't know if I recommend it, but hey, why not pick it up? You can go get it at Drive-Thru RPG still, or you could probably find this at used bookstores, the printed copy of it. Mine, I think I got printed from Lulu back when they used to sell things on Lulu. I don't know if they do anymore. But that is the Game Master the Game Master role-playing game for Mythic. It's a standalone, or it can be used as a supplement for other systems. Most people just used it for the chart. That's it. I don't know too many people that actually played the system, though I'm sure Word Mill Games will know many people because they've talked to them before. But I know they moved away from this and went into straight, we're just going to provide a Game Master emulator, Blue Book, then the new 2nd edition, and then the cards came along, which made things a lot easier as well. If you want to pick it up, I'll put a link down in the comments below. You might enjoy it. You may not enjoy it. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm going to head out. Hope you have a great day. Good night, everybody.